A key to being successful is to adapt to changing times, and in dancing it's no different. New York in the 1970s was very different than the city that I embarked on as a young woman. In the great days of the Palladium, we knew dancers from the Charlotte Street neighborhood of the Bronx. By the 1970s, these and other places were very difficult to live in. The Bronx was burning and the city was in decay. The sights and scenes of the old New York were slowly vanishing. Fashion and competitive dancing were also changing. Men began to dance in catsuits. For ladies, competitive outfits were in shades of pastel. Yours truly would stay independent in her choice of fashion choices and colors. That's a girl's privilege. New York's elegant ballroom scene was changing. The Stork Club closed and the Savoy was demolished. Roseland was antiquated and became a ghost of her former self. The older crowd held on to their tradition of dancing at the Roseland, but it still was the older generation. The demand for dance lessons were down until a new dance came along, the hustle, to motivate people to take lessons. It was a big dance craze to turn from the left to the right very quickly. It sort of resembled the mambo. Rising from the ashes came Studio 54. It was the mecca of discotheque dancing. Studio 54 was known for its exclusivity and many celebrity guests. The regular celebrities included Liza Minnelli, Robin Williams, and Mick Jagger. When Terry and I entered the dance floor at the Studio 54, we were lucky enough to dance to the music of Cher and the Village People. In the midst of many changes, Mr. Murray gave up supervising his studios. Mr. and Mrs. Murray moved to Hawaii, where they enjoyed playing tennis together and with their friends. Their New York studios were divided and sold to separate owners. Many of the dancers transitioned to executive positions. Terry Leone, for one, he became the face of Arthur Murray in all advertising.
Touch dancing is what people are into, and you can't do it alone. Isn't that great? You've got to get together with somebody. Arthur Murray changes people into couples. You know, it's amazing what 2 feet can learn about moving a body.
Meanwhile, I kept pace by traveling the country in an executive position of dance research and development. With my promotion, it allowed me more frequent visits to my childhood home, Iran. It was nothing like my youth, but it allowed me to revisit the old memories of childhood. Iran is full of history, interesting domes, thrones, and architecture. During these visits to Iran, it gave me precious time to appreciate my family. The sights of Iran are a pleasure for the eyes and heart. Meanwhile, back in New York, I had a happy life with my family. During my last decade in New York, my mom decided to join in on the fun and become a dancer. She decided not to be a wallflower anymore, so she took lessons from Terry Leone and John Cassesi. Couldn't have chosen better teachers. We competed against each other, and my mother was on Terry's team, and she took great joy out of keeping secrets from me and making Terry's team win. We danced at many events, but the most notable was the competition on a 747 jetliner. During the flight from New York to Ireland, the seats were removed for the Latin competition. This jet plane, complete with a dance floor, was the first of its kind. Later on, this event was an inspiration to open a Club 747 in Buffalo, New York. The airplane discotheque played host to many great dancers of the era. The next memorable event in the 1970s was the first Ohio Star Ball, to which Sam Sodano invited me to judge. From its humble beginnings, the Ohio Star Ball today is the most prestigious comp there is. The 1970s saw the foundation of dance sport as we know it today. With the foundation in place, I was now ready for the next chapter of my life.